Hi, I want to share my own story with you guys. What has brought me to your channel, Brother Nashi, is that my family it is under a serious spiritual attack. This happened after a Zimbabwean man died in front of our house in Limpopo. And this man, he is the one that has been giving us a lot of problems. And as a family, we do not know what else to do because we do not understand the Zimbabwean culture. That is why I have come here, because we are now out of ideas. We have spent a lot of money. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following confession, it was sent to us by our dear sister through TikTok, and it reads like this. Hi, I am 27 years old, the last born of a family out of 5 kids. I have 4 older siblings, all are unmarried, all are childless, and all of us, we are stuck even though we are working, but we are living under our mom's roof. We stay though in the suburbs. My mom, she usually cries, but she does not want us to see her crying. Sometimes when I wake up at night, I hear my mom praying and crying. I want to go and join her, but it makes me to become more painful. And this has led me into drinking a lot of alcohol because of the loneliness that I do have. Things are not okay. We are unable to get married, unable to move out, and to give my mother grandchildren. On my side, it is even scarier because of this spiritual husband. It is literally killing any man who tries to marry me. My eldest brother is going through his own battles. When he dates women, they see him as a baboon. It might sound funny as if you have never encountered such, but this is what is really happening in the family. We are desperate, Baveshu, and we need your help to figure out how to break this curse. Let me give you a bit of a background so that you can understand how we ended up here as a family. Back in those days, I grew up, we lived a really good life in Protea Glen in Soweto. My dad was not like a multimillionaire, but he was someone that knew how to hustle. He knew how to make money so that his family can survive and live a good life. He started from the ground up and he built a good business for himself. He had a taxi which was operating a long distance from Polokwane coming back to Joburg, and he had a shuttle business, and he had this business which would carry people that would have come to South Africa from the airport to the hotels. He also owned a very busy tavern back home in Limpopo. Because my dad wanted us to get a good private school education and have a nice life, he said that we were supposed to stay permanently in Joburg. He did not want to attend the local schools, but even though we were not staying in Limpopo, we would always go back to Limpopo every time that the schools would have closed. We would go there, even long weekends. We would pick up our bags and then we would go straight to Limpopo. So when I was there, my dad, he would try to teach my elder brother how to run the tavern, but my brother, he was not really interested in doing so. Then one of our cousin brother who stayed there in Limpopo, he ended up becoming the person who was managing the business whenever my dad was not around in Limpopo when he was with us in Joburg. So one day when this happened, I was already in matric. My dad, he was with us. That was when he said he had received a message from our cousin who was back in Limpopo. This happened over the weekend. My dad opened the picture, and when he opened the picture, he was shocked. We walked over to where he was sitting by the kitchen counter, and then he showed us what was wrong. We saw that on the chat there was a picture that had been sent by our cousin brother, and there was a man that was lying a few meters from the entrance of the tavern. Lying there, this man, we thought that maybe he had a blackout. So the cousin then told us that this was a guy that was a regular drinker that used to come and drink at the tavern, and this man, he was a Zimbabwean, and he was still waiting for other Zimbabweans to find this man's relative. My dad asked the cousin brother if there was anything that was wrong with him, if he just had a blackout. And then the cousin said that no, this man, he passed out yesterday. It seems as if when we locked the doors, we thought that everyone is headed over to their homes, but he slept. He decided to sleep in front of the tavern, and he froze himself to death. And that is how this man died. And later in the afternoon, my dad was trying to speak with other Zimbabweans that stayed in the location where my father had the second house, our family home, which was in Limpopo. Unfortunately, they said that they did not know where this man's relatives were. He had just came to South Africa. He was undocumented. He did not have a passport. He did not have anything. Because of that, there was no one that could say that he came from this village in his country. He was taken, and he was taken to the mortuary. He stayed there. My dad would ask if his body had been buried for a whole year, even as we had forgotten about that man. But because there was no one that came to collect his body, after a year and 2 months, that was when we were told that this man had been buried by the government, since there was no one that had came to collect his body. But I can say, returning back to that morning when I saw the WhatsApp photo, there is something weird that happened to me. You know, when you see something traumatic and you keep on thinking about it, that picture refused to leave my mind. The whole day when I was thinking about other things, I kept on seeing that Zim guy that had died in my mind. No matter what I tried to think about, it seemed as if I was obsessed by thinking about this man that had passed away in front of our house in Limpopo. That very same night, the nightmare, it even started. When I fell asleep, I had studied because I wanted to do medicine. So I was studying really hard. I was not even resting. That was when I found myself, I was dreaming, and I was sitting by my study desk in my room, and I just fell fast asleep whilst I was studying. I found myself, I was in a church, but this church, it was really weird. There was darkness everywhere, and it seemed as if it was my wedding day, something that I can't even properly explain. So then I heard the people saying that this is the bride. By saying that this is the bride, they were pointing at me, and I found myself, my clothes being removed, and I was totally naked. And then there came a man who did not have a face. He was just blank, and he came and he looked at me and he said to me, "I want to marry you." In my dream, it was really scary when this man said that he wants to marry me. So I tried to refuse. I was like, "Leave me alone. I don't know you." I was screaming in my dream. And when I screamed, I also woke up. I was screaming. My mother and my father, they rushed into my bedroom and they found me shaking. I was panicking. From that night going onwards, every time when I would go to bed, I would always see that man calling me his wife. I even fell pregnant in my dream, and I delivered with the help of that man that was saying that he had claimed me to be his wife. A year later, after that incident had happened, my father also passed away after we had learned that the man had been buried. My dad, he was dealing with a lot of stress from family drama about his Limpopo businesses, but he was also completely broken by the situation. We ended up giving up on the house that was in Limpopo because my dad was raised by a stepfather, and he built the house which used to belong to his mother. but they were fighting with him because they saw that there was a lot of money that was coming in because of the tavern. So they said that since you built your tavern in front of our father's house, then it means that everything belongs to us. They were fighting really, and this even made my father to become so sick. The moment that my father passed away, my mother started to receive some phone calls from my uncles, and they were asking about the taxis and the other businesses that my father was owing in Joburg. So we ended up, because of the toxic relationship between us and my father's relatives, we did not go to Limpopo to bury my father. My father was buried here in Joburg. But before my father had passed away, my dad had tried everything in my situation to save me, because by then I had told my parents that I kept on having this dream about a man that would come to me and he would try to have sexual intercourse with me. My father said it is not a good thing for a woman to have that kind of a dream. My dad then drove with us to Limpopo. We stayed, and before we returned back to Joburg, he went with us as a family to this other prophet. He was a ZCC prophet in Boyne for a spiritual cleansing. If you know Limpopo, you know Boyne, right close to Moria. That was where I was taken. When we were there, I was given Metsi Atapelo, and I was given a bottle that I was supposed to use whenever I would go to bed. I was supposed to put it right beside me, and this was going to assist me. The prophet said that I had to be cleansed because it seemed as if there was a spirit that was fighting against me, that did not want me to live a good life. We returned back to Soweto. When I returned with my family back to Soweto, that man came back to me and he was very angry that I had run to Boyne. But because my dad was so sick at the time, I did not want to focus on myself. So this man, he would sleep with me in my dream. And when that prophet from Boyne would call my mom to check up on my progress, I would lie to that prophet, and I would say, no, I am fine now. The nightmares, they are completely gone. You know why I lied? I lied because I did not want my mother to stress about me. She was already losing my dad, and I chose to hide these demonic dreams to suffer, just to protect my mother from breaking down even more. After my dad had passed away, I can say that things became so hard. My mom became convinced that one of our neighbor was using Buloi against me because I was very intelligent and smart in school, that they were using witchcraft against me because they did not want me to progress in life. And my mom could not understand why was these things happening to us as a family all at once. So she made a decision to sell the house in Soweto, and then she used some of the inheritance and savings that my father had left behind, and she managed to buy a house in the suburbs where we are living right now. My mom thought that if she changed the environment to move from the township where there is a lot of witchcraft, and then in the suburbs, everyone mind their own business, there is no witchcraft at all. But you can change your residential address, but the witchcraft will always follow you. As the years went by, things were happening in the family that we could not understand. We started by suffering in silence. Everyone was suffering, fighting his own or her own spiritual battles without informing the other family members. I'm 27 years. My eldest brother is 38. He lives at home with us. In fact, all of four of my older siblings are completely unmarried. They have zero kids, and we are still stuck under our mom's roofs like we are still little teenagers. My mom, she cries, and whenever I see her crying, I also go into my room and I start to cry. and this makes me to drink alcohol even if I do not want to drink. I was once beaten by a guy that I slept with, whom I met at a groove, and he said that I gave him an STI, and I was not even surprised by it. It is because of this spiritual husband. He told me that any man that will dare put the private part of his into mine, then this man is going to suffer. He is going to give him an STI, a dream that I had even before I went to this other event that was happening at this other club, where I ended up doing a hookup with a guy because I was lonely. I wanted to be with someone. So we went to that guy's place, and in the morning, he beat me because he said, "You gave me an STI." And the way that I infected him, it was really fast. The next morning, even his manhood, you could not look at it twice, the way that it was so scary. And this has happened since my varsity days. I have tried to date, I have tried to love just like any other girl. I have dated three different guys whom I was seriously in love with, but the relationships, they always start nice, but the moment that we get serious, even if I stay with a guy, when we start to talk about our families and commitment, saving for lobola, something will happen. All these men, what really surprises me is that they have all died because of an accident. The first guy we met during my second year at varsity, he was someone that I liked immediately, and we started talking about moving in together, and we moved in together, and this man, he passed away. He died on a spot where even the police, they said that they wish there were cameras in that zone because they could not understand how his car just crashed and then he died. He crashed into a tree. Every man that I have dated ended up dying. Another guy also that I was dating, he also died of an accident. He was from Guyana. He was traveling from Joburg. He stayed in Midrand. He was going back for the holidays. I even told him that I wanted to go with him. Maybe I could have died. But because one of his sister hated me, he said, let us not go there together right now. You know how my sister is like. He was also driving a VW Polo. Oh, by the way, all these men that I have dated and they have died, all of them drove Polos. By the time that I dated the third guy, I was terrified to love anyone again. We were in a long distance relationship. He was in Limpopo. We came, we slept together, and when he was returning back home, he also passed away in a terrible road accident. What hurt me is the most is that he was not the one that caused the accident. There were two trucks that had a head-on collision. He was following the truck behind, and then the trailer fell on top of the Polo before he could come out of the Polo, and then he passed away. All of these men, they all died in terrible road accidents. So one day, my brother, he brought in a woman, and we did not even mind. We were actually happy because we were really worried about my brother never bringing in women, never going for a sleepover, always at home. So after my brother had brought this other woman home, then we had a nice dinner and they went to bed. We also went to bed. Later in the evening, that was when we had them fighting in my brother's room. They were really fighting. And when my mom went there, I also followed. And that woman then said to my mom, "I'm really sorry. I love your son, but I can never come back to this house." She said that when they turned off the lights to go to sleep, that was when she felt something that was with her in bed. And when she turned around to look at him using the light from her phone, that was when she saw that my brother's face was no longer there. But what she saw a baboon that was looking at her, and she said, "Your son was a baboon. I was sleeping next to a baboon, and that is why she was screaming she wanted to leave, and my brother was refusing for her to leave. You know, I really feel sorry for that woman who was brought to our house by my brother. We said that she saw my brother as a baboon. Wherever she is, if she is still alive, maybe she thinks that my brother or us as a family, we have a togoloshi. Even if it was me, to see someone changing into a baboon, I would automatically think that they have a togoloshi or they are money ritualists. Wherever you are, girl, I'm really sorry for what we did to you as a family. We threatened that girl. My mother was so angry with that girl, and we chased her out in the middle of the night after we had tried to sit with her down to tell her that what she had seen was not possible. It did not even exist. We were actually happy, but then we chased her out when she kept on saying that she is now afraid to be in the house. We said that she is a prostitute anyway. She is supposed to leave our house. The next morning, that was when my brother broke down and confessed to my mom that this was not the first time that it had ever happened. I wish that my brother did not keep this secret, could have told that girl the previous night that she was not the first one to see him becoming a baboon when they were about to make love. My brother sat with us down and told us that every single time when he tries to share a bed with a woman, that woman will see a baboon instead of my brother, and the woman will run away because of what she would have seen. So he thought that if he brought this woman home with all of us being them, it was going to change the situation. And we started talking from that day. That was when we started to open up to each other. And I told my family that it was not just him, but I was also experiencing the same things. When I was with a man, I can feel bored. I can chase away that man who will say that he is in love with me. My older sisters, they are beautiful, they have nice jobs. When I'm saying that we are staying with my mother, it's not like we are broke. We have good jobs. I wake up each and every morning. I go to a nice job, and what really surprises me is that when I tried to move out, the debt that I just had in a very short period of time, I'm still paying some of the money that I owe to the credit cards companies. And it is the reason why I am unable to move out at home, even though on paper my salary it is really good. But after paying all the things that I owe to the bank, the credits, the car, everything, I can only have about 1,000 rands at the end of the month, but still we live a good life at home. We are never running out of food. We have everything. And my sisters, they are all the same. They have nice cars, they dress very well, but when they start to date, it ends up in violence. One of my sister was nearly killed by a guy who started to act as if he was possessed, and this happened when my sister was engaged to that guy. The lobola process had already started. Then one morning, out of nowhere, they started fighting. The man was claiming that my sister was cheating on him. We were asking my sister, are you with someone else? We are your family. If you open up to us, maybe we can help you. Are you dating anyone behind his back? My sister was like, no, I'm not dating anyone. And they ended up fighting. This man, what he did was really scary. He took my sister and he said, let us go out. I want to apologize. So let us go out for a dinner date. When they went there, my sister, when she was telling us what happened, was that this man, as he was driving, he started to say, it is better that we all die today in this car right now. I can just switch lanes and move to the into the oncoming traffic, and we can all die today. What is the purpose of living? He was saying that he has lost all hope. He wanted to end his life and my sister's life. He even punched my sister when my sister started to fight with him back until you stopped the car. There were other cars that saw that there was something that was happening. That man is still in prison right now, but I feel sorry for him because at that time my sister says that it was not the man that she had fallen in love with, but he saw something that was completely different, a man that was acting as if he was under the possession of the devil. So this is the curse that blocks my sister and I from ever becoming married women, also blocking my brother, keeping us on lockdown inside of our mother's house. What has brought me to your channel, Brother Nashim, is a dream that I had. I don't know if I can say that this is a breakthrough or it is the devil that is playing tricks with my mind. It is a breakthrough dream that I want to discuss with South Africa if they can assist me. The dream that I had a couple of weeks ago is that this man, he came to me, he did not threaten me, he did not force to sleep with me. Instead, he revealed a clear revelation to me. I saw myself, I was back at our old family house in Limpopo. I saw the tavern, people drinking. I even saw this Zimbabwean man. Now I know that this man that used to come to me hiding his face, it is the man who died in front of the house because of the dream that I had. I saw him drinking, and then I saw his body lying on the ground, just like the picture that was sent to us by our cousin many years ago. So then I found out that this man, he started to follow my father around, even to the day that my father passed away. Even in the hospital, I saw that my father, when he passed away, this dead man, he was sitting right next to where my father was lying on the hospital bed. And then I saw a rope. This rope, it was tied around my waist and on my brother's hands, and it was tied on my sister's womb and tied on my mother's ankles. I could not see the person that was holding this rope, but later on I saw that it was revealed to me it was the same man that died in front of our house in Limpopo. When I woke up, I can say I started to think about it. That was the thing that I was thinking about. So I think that maybe there were some things that was supposed to happen according to what I am thinking. Maybe before this person had been buried, we were supposed to do some rituals to call a sangoma to collect his spirit. And before he was buried, maybe my father was supposed to go to where this man was buried as well. But how were we supposed to know that this is what we were supposed to do? And we did not even do a single thing. It was just something that just happened. A man dies in front of your house and you continue with your life. One thing that happened until this tavern was closed, because right now this tavern, it is not like operating like the way that it used to operate when my dad was still alive. People, they say that my father's relatives, they took the tavern, yet they did not know how to run that business. But I think that the spirit was the one also that was causing a lot of problems in that business, because after my father passed away, there were a lot of stabbings that were happening at that tavern. Every Friday, there was always an ambulance. We used to be told by some of our friends that, these days, at your father's tavern, people are killing each other. It's like this tavern is asking for blood. There were people that were even falsely accusing my late father of having a tokology that he was using to run that business of his. Brother, writing my story to you, it is because I am desperate. My mom, she is quite old. I so wish for my mother to see her own grandchildren. I am asking everyone that listens to this channel, what are we supposed to do as a family to fix this? This man that died, he was a foreigner. We really do not even know his name at all. I need your advice. Will a Sangoma work if we go with him to collect the spirit of this Zimbabwean man? If we collect the spirit, where are we supposed to put his spirit? Please, I want your advice, and thank you very much for listening to my story. Yo, dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to us by our dear sister. Let us speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed they do happen in this world. What do you think that this family is supposed to do? Our sister is asking if we go with a Sangoma who can collect the spirit of this man, where is the Sangoma going to put the spirit of that man? Yo, it is really strange. But why is this spirit tormenting you like this? Because you did not cause his death. If you know what this family can do, you can help us in the comment section.